The difference is true essence seeker. The inner planes are matter, substance, true physicality. They are the building blocks of the multiverse, for it is from them that all belief in the elements springs. The inner planes filter through the ethereal plane, the plane of potential, some say, which forms the elements into the worlds of mortals. Once past the ethereal plane, one reaches the prime material, where exist all manner of mortals and monsters and myths and machines. It is there that belief is born, and there that the spirits that created the outer planes are born. When mortals die, they pass through the astral plane, and no place that is thought and mental energy itself. That is thought and mental energy itself. It is in all things and in none. It is paradox among other things, and it filters the spirits into the great ring. Do you comprehend so far? Kind of? Let's try. Now, the outer planes, where should I start? Do you know the cardinal rules of the planes on which all others are based? Do you know about the composition of the outer planes? Do you know of the great ring and its divisions in our hearts? Do you know of the individual planes? Each of these leads to the next, and so it is best to start from the beginning. Yeah, probably you should have started from here. Composition. The outer planes are created of and by belief and thought and faith. They take their imagined form from the prime material plane, shaped into forms that stagger the imagination, built by the accumulation of belief. Belief creates the planes. Belief is power here. Change belief and you can change the nature of reality. The creatures that are born here, the plane-born, like the fiends and celestials, are truly born of the thoughts and concepts of mortals. They each express some sort of ideal, and the more powerful the ideal, the more powerful the being. Thus, the being that symbolizes love is one of the strongest of all. Really, I wouldn't have said. I would say the being that symbolizes hate. Go on. That's why the powers, gods, some call them, live out here. This is where all the faith in them comes. This is where they are at their most pure and most strong. Their realms are extensions of their very beings, manifestations of their godly essence. All of it informed by belief. So basically, yeah, that's what I thought as well. So they are imagined things, but they're real. So the gods are created by the beliefs of the mortal, but then they actually become form. They become some sort of reality in the planes, I would think. Tell me about the Great Ring, then. Among the loose unity of planewalkers, we conceive of the infinite outer planes as a ring surrounding the plane of ultimate neutrality, the Outlands. The spire atop which Sigil sits is in the center of the Outlands. The further one travels away from the spire, the less neutral the plane grows, until it spills into the neighboring planes. Each of these planes impinges on the Outlands, spinning themselves into law and chaos, good and evil. The Great Road marks the demarcation between the Outlands and the gate towns that spring up around the gates to these planes. Beyond the gate towns lie the hinterlands, uncharted territory that is lost to history, that loses thought. Danger lies in the hinterlands. I see. The outer planes differ by morality, not substance. For you, we'll divide the planes into 3 sets: the upper planes of good, the lower planes of evil, and the boundary planes of neutrality. Really? These are then divided further by law and chaos. Are you explaining to me alignment? Because with the outlands in the middle, which of these interests you? I don't know everything. Of the upper planes, there are the neutral planes, the lawful planes, and the chaotic planes. What would you know? What? The neutral upper planes contain the Beastlands, a place of neutrality and goodness with a slight tinge of chaos, where the animals rule in the eternal noon and night. They hold Bytopia, twin paradise of industry and labor, where all work toward the good of all, and Elysium, the sweetest plane of goodness and calm I have ever come across. Alas, right now I am not well enough to enjoy any of the restorative effects. What would you hear of now? Lawful planes? Candrian gives a small shudder. I am not the best person to speak of the planes of law, he says. For the innate structure and ultimate patterns they impose frighten me. I steer clear of them because I value my individuality more than I value the knowledge they'll bring me. They include regimented Arcadia, nearest of the good planes to the unbending order of Mechanus, and Mount Celestia, home of the Archons, an island in the Silver Sea. Chaotic? These are where I feel at home, though I steer clear of Isgard for the most part. The endless battles and tests of metal among the floating earthbergs of the plain don't do much for my disposition. Arborea, though. He sighs. The mountains are taller, the air clearer, the rivers purer, and the game larger than anywhere else. It is a true paradise, a place where passions run high and the wine never ceases to flow. When I have recovered enough of my wits and myself, when we have done with the outer planes, you should ask me of the inner, and I will describe my journey to you. I will return to Arborea's bowers and glades and lose myself for a time. What about the lower planes then? Like the upper planes, the lower planes are divided into lawful, chaotic, and neutral. Each of them varies in terms of horrors and what those horrors do to a traveler's spirit, and all of them are best avoided. Which of them would you like to hear of? Neutral. The neutral planes, they're vile and barely understandable, and they're more insidious on their own than you could ever imagine. Take Gehenna, for example, 4 volcanoes in stages of dormancy, floating in an infinite void, each of them somehow alive, and each of them wanting your soul by whatever means they can get it. Populated with the Ugolots, the worst of the fiends, in my opinion, and you've got the place, the plane of ultimate evil. At least that's what they call it. It's the grey waste, no place that drains color from your body and spirit, stealing away even your apathy, and it's the site of the worst battlegrounds in the war down there. Don't get me started. Then you've got Carcery on the chaotic side. Tell me about the war? Aye, the blood war. At the name, your blood feels as if it freezes in your veins. Ilborn doesn't seem to notice, wrapped up as he is in his memories. 2 armies of fiends smashing together pointlessly across the lower planes, slaughtering mindlessly in the name of law and chaos. They'll aggrandize it, of course, but in the end it's about hate and stupid endeavor that aids none and harms far too many. What about Carcery? Carcery and its poisonous jungles, acid swamps, destructive waters, strung like a string of rotten pearls nestled within one another. Yeah, I would imagine something else with that kind of name. Like a giant dungeon. He pauses and looks at you carefully, again fixing you in place with his eyes. Remember this, Seeker. Carcery is a prison. All right. Home to the Geherlets, one of the most dangerous types of fiends there is. The strength of the prison is the strength of the captor, as strong as the prisoner lets it be. Destroy the prison keeper and a body can escape the red prison. There is almost no other way out, not when the gates close themselves against you and watch you spin off into the vast space surrounding the orbs. Be wary of Carcery, traveler, for its bonds can be greater than flesh.
Updated my journal.
We already talked about this. Why are you giving me a journal update now? What about the lawful planes? As much as I detest the order of the lawful upper planes, at least they present a modicum of goodness. Their lower planar counterparts, though, Acheron's a place of ricocheting cubes that never see an end to battle? That's so bad. Swarming with the souls of dead humanoids. Bator. He shivers involuntarily. Bator is a place best avoided. Those Batezu, the fiends in the corner there, are but the merest expression of the deviant corruptions embodied in that soulless machine of order. If you want more, talk to them, but remember, all that is bad about bureaucracy and order originates from Bator, and it spreads like a stain across the hearts of mortals. Though there is some knowledge to be found there, it is rarely worth the spiritual the plane inflicts. Alright then. Tell me of the rest of the lower planes. Yeah, I think we missed the chaotic ones. The Abyss isn't some place you should consider going. Where Bator's all orderly, the Abyss is full of chaos and change, and none of it's pleasant. When it becomes something that approximates normality, that's when you should be most wary of it. It's home to the Tanari, what most primes call demons, and they've got that name for a reason. They are unpredictable and murderous, and the few you can trust are few and far between. The few I have met would I trust. I still don't trust entirely. They are creatures of chaos and evil incarnate, and if they're putting on a friendly face, who's to say it's not part of a larger agenda? Exactly. About the boundary. There are two boundary planes to my mind, and they are diametrically opposed. One of them, Mechanus, is the very essence of law, a place where beliefs fit together, interlocking, turning in a massive machine that is the entire plane. Some folks have it that the gears of Mechanus are the engine that drives the planes. The other plane is Limbo, swirling a morass of chaos that follows no rules, none, and just when a body thinks he's classified its behavior, it goes and changes on him, or it doesn't. You just can't tell. I was in limbo not too long ago. Well, tell me of your journey then. He closes his eyes, remembering. I had a Jitserite guide with me, an anarch who could shape the illogical matter of the plane into forms of his desire. We had fought off the harrying of this laddie, the chaos creatures who called that plane home. It seemed there were more than usual, but then, one can never tell what's usual in Limbo, but I digress. In the midst of all this chaos, we came across a series of huge metal interlocking cubes, like some sort of puzzle box. It wasn't something we had shaped, consciously or not, and we couldn't find a way inside. It was like a bastion of order within the confines of disorder, a seed of law. That is the best I can explain it.
Updated my journal.
Nothing else about the boundary planes? What about the Outlands? The Outlands are absolute neutrality, perhaps the best place for a body to visit in the outer planes. Outside of Sigil, if you don't want to have a plane's morality forced into your heart, everything balances out in the Outlands, as it should be, for the plane that sits at the center of the outer planes. Yeah, okay. realms are scattered about here, and there are handfuls of gate towns that open into the rest of the outer planes. The gate towns usually mirror the philosophy of the plane their gates open onto. And if the balance of belief isn't kept in the town slips into the nearby plane. It's a bad situation for everyone, because few of the folks in the towns really want that change, but enough of the outlands. What more would you know? That's actually nice to picture them like that. How about my journal? I've seen no journals lately, but for my own, and that has crumpled away into nothingness. My apologies. Okay. Farod grew up to be a collector? How long ago was this? When I set out last, he was but an officious stripling in one of the upper wards. Oh, that's some new info. Time does change some people. No, Seeker, I don't know Farod anymore. I'm willing to bet. Ah. What are you doing? Back from negation. I'm trying to restore my essence before it slips away from me altogether. What do you mean? His eyes cloud over. I went to the inner planes to discover my true essence. I made the mistake of visiting the negative material plane in order to understand my body's urge to decay and the cycle of death in life. I thought myself protected against the ill effects of the plane with my magic. But I was wrong. The blackness of infinite nothing pressed on my soul, and I was beset by shadows that sought to snuff out my very soul. I lost my way for a time, for an eternity, and nearly lost my existence. I could feel my essence falling away from me, and am even now half gone. Never will I return. How did you survive?
Updated my journal.
How did I survive? He smiles tightly, with a piece of nothing that held back the nothing. Nothing can stop nothing, you know, and so I carried nothing in my hand to protect me. Do you plan to journey to the ultimate negation yourself? You have the smell of desperation about you, and so I make you this gift. Hold it in your hand when the shadows press in, and it should protect you and your friends somewhat. Should they remain close to you, huh? He passes you a small black token that looks as if it has no dimensionality to it at all. What is this place? Unless the cosmos has shifted, or we have been spun into the mazes, I would say that we are in the Smoldering Corpse Tavern. Can you tell me of the patrons? I mind my own business here, Seeker, for I spend too much time away, not minding it. Speak to the bartender if you would learn more of his customers. I think we are alright. So, what did I get? Negative token. Ward against shadows. Holds shadow creatures temporarily. This is a negative token, a flat black disc that appears to have no substance to it at all. Turning it over reveals that it has no third dimension. There is no thickness to this item at all. It gives you some command over creatures of shadows. You can command them to stand still for a few precious seconds. The more powerful the shadow, the less likely it will obey your command. As an added benefit, as long as this token is carried by any of your party members, it acts as a ward against shadows. It will not prevent shadows from attacking your group, but the shadows will find it more difficult to harm you while the token is carried. Well, that's interesting and maybe slightly important, because we have been told about shadows, right? This is healing. This is a spell, and this is fortifying, I think, right? Kind of. We really need to go to a merchant and sort our stuff out, right? Now we have this mercy killer and these guys here. I'm almost healed back, which is good. Should we talk with these people? Let's try. An armored behemoth. This man is huge. He also seems to have a very keen eye. It misses nothing that transpires around him. It also seems that he has no interest in speaking to you. Hello. The man stares at you as if you were some form of bug. He stares at you, blinking slowly. He turns his head and dismissing you without speaking a word. Yeah. I don't think we should pick a fight with them. What about Ethelgrin? You see a scaled fiend who looks very similar to the one standing next to him. In addition to the pierced left ears, both are black-hued and reptilian, with bat wings tucked against themselves. This one is missing a tooth on its right side. Ah, Tegarin, it says. Our old friend has returned to pay us a visit. So he has. Ethelgrin, so he has. Yet his eyes do not gleam as once they did. What do you suppose brings him back to us? What does bring you back to us, friend? Who are you? Ah, Ethelgrin, time has robbed our companion's memory. You honestly do not recall us, do you? Truly, I am aggrieved. But, as am I, Tegarin, truly aggrieved. Yet I rest easy. It has, after all, been many hundreds of years, and we know how the minds of mortals tend to dissipate with age. Oh, good God. First we have a 15 years gap, and now we have hundreds. Ah, well spoken. Old friend, we are a pair of Abishai on leave from our current assignments in Bator. I am Tegarin, the thrice-damned, so named for my ability to find the best in every situation. This is Ethelgrin, who has earned himself no special name, though not for lack of trying. Not for lack of trying. Lack of trying, what do you mean? Ethelgrin ignores you as it responds to its companion, and once again, Tegarin, you have cut straight to the truth of the matter. Though perhaps it is best not to have earned the sort of notice one bearing the name Thrice-Damned must surely have incurred. These two guys are infinitely civilized. I remember the Abishai I tried to talk with in the streets, and that was a disaster, kind of. He was about to spit fire on me or something. I had some other questions. Morte whispers to you, Boss, I don't like this. They're not supposed to be here. The Blood War hasn't kicked the Celestials' asses bad enough that any fiend can go on furlong. They want something. Tread carefully. In the meantime, Tegarin continues to respond to its companion. In its turn, Tegarin ignores you as it replies to its comrade. Once again, I maintain that any notice is better than no notice at all. The Abishai turns back to you. Old friend, does this answer your question as to our identities? Nope. I maintain that any notice, I might have lost some of their conversation. I suppose it will have to. I had some other questions. Some questions, perhaps we have answers. We are certainly eager to aid you, old friend. What about my journal? I keep no journals, friend, and I counsel that you should not either. Exactly, that's what I always say. Ask my dear comrade Tegarin why, and you shall receive enlightenment. Very well, Tegarin, why should I not keep a journal? Because, friend, it is easy to make the mistake of committing a true word to posterity, and easier still for someone you once trusted. And here he shoots a glance full of venom at Ethelgrin. To find that word and use it against you. Indeed, it can even lead to actions tantamount to desertion. Living or losing a journal can cost you your very existence. Yeah, I agree, but I don't really understand what's going on here. Boss, I'm more sure than ever that these Berks ain't on the up and up. Sounds to me like they deserted. Like they're looking for some angle that will elevate their status in Bator. You don't want to be talking to them, boss. You don't know what game they're playing, and you could get burned, literally. Alright, Morte. Tell me about fiends, though. Why is that? Why is that a little floating skull I see? There's a lovely sweet scent of Batorian decay about you, my pretty. Perhaps we should discuss this later. The Abishai returns its attention to you. Now then, you said you had some questions. What are you two doing? What are we doing? Why? Is it not perfectly clear, old friend? We are on leave from our beloved assignment, taking for ourselves some much needed rest and perhaps inducing some additional recruitment for our glorious cause. Our superiors fully support our presence, to be sure. In a more immediate sense, we are taking our entertainment in this delightful establishment. And of course we are celebrating the return of our old friend. However, the stench of the breezes, which occasionally waft the scent of goodness in the door, debases us somewhat, leaving us physically, mentally and spiritually weaker. Fortunately, the air in this world of the city carries a delicious tang of pain and supplication. Wouldn't you agree? Again, the fiend smiles broadly at you. Can you tell me about fiends? As we see it, there are two kinds of fiends, those who are correct and those who are not. Our side, that of the Batezu, is correct. The other side, that of the cursed, hated, chaotic Tenari, is incorrect and must be exterminated. Alright, easy enough. We hold the Tenari directly responsible for the Blood War. Were it not for them, we could have settled the lower planes in peace, and wouldn't have all the bother of fighting this wretched war, nor would the unfortunate spillovers into other planes be such a cause for concern among the namby-pambying do-gooders. The Tenari are directly to blame for the multiverse sad state of affairs. It is a war between philosophies. It is a war of philosophies. Though everybody has their places, so I don't know why they're having a blood war. Certainly because somebody wants to expand their ideology. I wanted to know what differentiates you from them. The fiend pauses a moment and then brightens. Ah, yes, you see, we represent law and order. Those who break the law must be punished. If we have no law, we have only anarchy. And surely you can see what anarchy has done for the Abyss. It has spawned horrors beyond imagining. Any excess the Batezu state may have indulged in are simply to counter the rising tide of chaos represented by the Tenari. We mean no harm to anyone, we just prefer to understand where the boundaries are. I can sympathize with that. I don't know if I should ask them about Farod. I think we have enough information about Farod. Let's leave them. And let's move around a bit. Since we have another companion, maybe we could try to take the 3 tags, maybe? I'm just waiting for somebody to attack. This is a Gitzerai.
I'm gone.
Yeah. Now this is... I don't want him to use spells yet.
Die.
Because I think we can manage one, one of them. We can just punch him. Retreat 1 second. Let's try...
Balance.
How do I try? Let's try this. Ooh! Woo, woo! That was good. You can scare them off. But let's kill this one first. I want to kill the one behind though, not the lady. Okay, we have another one that's arriving. Slowly creeping. Come on, you guys. You can get at him. Maybe. Ah, that's good stuff that we can sell. Oh, the other one's here. Oh, he's attacking us. Okay. I feel a little bit better now that we are 3. Because we must take these 3 guys. Because we have a quest that's tied to them. The vines. Alright then. Which quest was it? Ah, the one for that guy of the... that's part of that order. Shall we talk to them? Hello? This small wiry thug is swathed in rags, dyed red and black. He glances at you as you approach. Greetings. The man does not speak, he only glares at you. It doesn't look like he is the leader of this small band. Farewell then. So you are. This heavy-set thug is swathed in rags, dyed red and black. He looks exactly like the other one. No. He's made almost purely of muscle. He glowers as you approach. And how can I help you then, Governor? This man's face breaks into a sneer. Looks to me you need a healer. You are... You one of the ones who robbed a monk in the hive, took his prayer bead necklace? Some sod with lines scrawled all over his face claimed he could have put us all in the dead book. Yet lets us bob. I'm blind. The man gives a slow, toothless smile. Never even heard of such a sod, I haven't. Let's try. That is interesting. The rest of his order is looking for you. The Brothers of Heritage seem to know you quite well. The man's sneer fades. What you're on about? What brothers? The sod was alone, he was. Well, he's a member of a religious order, you fool. That necklace you stole is their most holy relic. If it isn't returned, the rest of his order will come looking for you, and they don't have any reservation about killing thieves. The man's eyes widen. Now we was just keeping the relic for him. He reaches into the fold of his robe and pulls forth the necklace, which he hands carefully to you. Here it is, no harm done, eh? I hope this is enough to call off the rest of his order. Perhaps a donation to their cause is in order as well. It might help smooth things over and ward off any curses that might come your way.
Updated my journal.
Curses? The man makes a semicircle over his heart. Well, now, wouldn't want any of that. He reaches into his purse at his belt and hands over several copper coins. Take it with me, blessing, Governor. Tell him no harm was meant. Only 10 coppers. Your donation is appreciated anyway. We got... I got what I wanted and more. I think, have we been around here everywhere? Oh, my inventory is full, of course, as always. No, not Morte. I need to visit my merchant friend.
Your path is mine.
And sell him these rings and whatnot. Oh! Wow, you're
All
quick.
right.
So, alright. There doesn't seem like anything I could do in here more. So, I want to go upwards. I don't remember. Oh, well, maybe I could go this way. Because I have a little problems orienting, sorry. It's fine though. It had to happen at some point, right? How do we do this? Look at him! Look at his pose. He knows stuff.